Hellbent Live. Let us know you can see us and can hear us, and we will get on with the show. Is it a little blurry or am I just blind?
I think you're blind. We're both going blind.
Go blind.
It's like creatine.
Go blind. All right. It is the creatine.
It is the creatine. Right?
Welcome to Hellbent Live. My name is Jesse Doyle. This is my creatine confidant, Joe Doyle. Back in action. Live and in person. One night only. All right. Welcome to the show. This is our weekly show we do on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m., sometimes on Tuesday night, where we discuss all things high strangeness, Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, goblins, ghouls, good times, all of the above, with our lovely audience and friends, the Hellbenders. We want to welcome you guys to the show.
Got Lady Wolf, Man in the Ramparts tonight.
Got Lady Wolf on the case, helping us out here in the chat. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. We do still have the skull in the background, though. That looks like it's apparently.
The podcast room is still a state of chaos, so we are still coming to you from the Hellbent Holler Library. Are we like tighter than usual? Is the camera like?
I brought it in a little bit.
Oh, you brought it in a little bit.
Does it look okay?
Yeah, disconcertingly large is what I look like. So
large man. We had such a interesting past few days. We were in the field every day for the past 4 days. And it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. A lot of interesting stuff. We're working on stuff for Halloween. It is Halloween season.
If all goes according to plan, we are going to have an absolutely insane case to bring you for the Halloween special. It is a case that we have mentioned before, but the witness that is in this extremely bizarre Bigfoot encounter is willing to give us an interview, and we are going to be doing a series of nighttime field investigations in an area where something, possibly a Sasquatch, attempted to abduct this gentleman's granddaughter.
Yeah.
And he opened fire on it. And he is still having activity in this area. We have experienced activity in an adjacent area.
Yep.
We were actually in that area last night and are going to be in that area again tonight when we get done here for a little while. And it's some crazy stuff, but it's going to be a perfect matchup for Halloween. We were actually saving back interviewing this gentleman, waiting for activity to pick back up, and he's just like, "Hey, he messaged you a week ago?"
Yeah, well, about a week or two. Well, about two weeks ago,
saying that the activity had started back up again. That he could hear them. He was messaging you while he was like, "I can hear them right now."
Yep.
And so yeah, it's going to be a crazy one. It's going to be perfect for Halloween.
Yeah, we're excited about it. I know that last year for Halloween we did Ghosts of Appalachia in the old settlement. That was the genesis of City Boy, where a ghost tried to talk smack to you.
Tried to talk some crap to me. So,
and we also did Devil's Graveyard, where I did that Estes session in that old abandoned mountain cemetery, and got some interesting responses there. We were more geared towards the paranormal and ghost type stuff last year. This year we're focusing on horrifying Bigfoot, basically.
For Halloween, yeah. Now, for our equinox investigation, we'll talk about that a little bit real quick. Okie, thank you so much, my man.
Thank you, Okie.
Okie. Thank you so much.
I am taller. I have my chair pumped up.
And then our buddy Pyromedic, one of our hauler ballers, one of the grease that keeps these wheels a spinning, representing Hellbent Holler at the Missouri conference this weekend. Ought to get at least 2 subs.
There you go.
Appreciate you, Pyro. Or he's going to go there and people are going to go, we need to unsubscribe from Hellbent Holler. Did you see that lunatic? I'm hoping you can get to a conference that we do, if we do anymore.
Yeah.
We're kind of conferenced out. We did.
Oh, and a special thank you to the marshals, by the way.
Oh, yes.
It is Bucky Witch season. Ah! And it's so cute. It's so cute. So I've got Santa Bucky, and I've got
A witch Bucky.
Witch Bucky, Halloween Bucky. So we're gonna have the whole Bucky family eventually from the Marshalls. But thank you guys for that, Mary and LW. Yeah, it's been a year since. Yeah, so LW Marshall says hard to believe it's been a year since the City Boy incident. Yeah, and that really put us, well, mainly Joe, off of doing ghost related stuff for a while, for a very long time. But it looks like we are bringing back some paranormal stuff. And that's the topic of today's show. We're going to discuss Bigfoot and the paranormal. There's a lot of connections there and a lot of avenues that we're going to explore in that discussion. But we actually put a little rubber on the road when it comes to the supernatural and Sasquatch with the investigation that we will be releasing this week. I don't know if I want to do it Friday, if I want to release it Friday or release it Sunday. Let me know what you guys think, whatever you guys want to do. We'll do a live premiere where we'll have a chat and everything here on the channel. And then we'll do a members discussion stream afterwards as usual. But that's going to be our equinox investigation. I released a extended preview for the members last week, and everybody seems to got really excited for it. But it's interesting and exciting because we kind of walk that line between Bigfoot investigation and paranormal investigation. So it's really exciting. I like to think that it's kind of like, how I'm looking at it is it's almost like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it starts out as a crime and a heist movie, and then holy crap, it's a vampire movie halfway through. So
do you want to talk about the Equinox investigation that's going to be coming out soon, and the whole thing?
That's literally what I'm talking about.
But I'm just saying, like, the particulars. Do you want to talk about like what
I can talk about some of the particulars?
So the topic tonight is Bigfoot and the paranormal, or did you do Bigfoot and the supernatural? Bigfoot and the supernatural.
Bigfoot and the supernatural.
Same damn thing. Anyway,
words matter, Joe.
So we've been investigating that area Blackthorn, and that area Blackthorn, we went there because people were reporting Bigfoot activity. And we went in there and we've experienced like weird stuff, like weird object placement. The whole area used to be plantations that were basically torn down, and the land became public property, and there were plans to do some like outdoor recreation stuff there. And then that just kind of went by the wayside. We keep finding items that were from the plantations, the old plantation homes. And there were some other smaller homes through that area as well.
Anytime you have a plantation complex like that, you've got several places where people had dwellings. You have the main plantation sites, and there's multiple plantation sites. Now, these were all families that were related, but you're talking generations of people with multiple plantations that were situated in this area, and it's a huge area. But then you also have people that were part of that family. You had ancillary members of the family, and then you also had enslaved people who were working the plantations. So you have all of these sites of habitation that are dotted all over the area.
And something or someone is taking little items that were left from when people lived there and like decorating the trees with them, stacking them. And some people are going, oh, well, that's from metal detector users, and that's from this and this. Some of the stuff we're finding are very, very large rocks that are stacked on top of one another that you would probably need, I don't know, 3 or 4 grown men to like move. We're finding like pieces of quartz and metal and glass that have been like shaped into triangular and sometimes pyramid shapes.
Yeah.
But some of the weird stuff out there, as far as like object placement and stacking and everything like that, it's almost reminiscent of what you would expect with poltergeist activity if you were experiencing it at a home. And there are a couple of old family graveyards that are still out there. One of which is like has an old fence around it that's open. Another one's just basically fallen into disrepair. We know that in there's an archaeological report for the area where some of the state archaeologists and they had some anthropologists from a local university come in, which is kind of weird. The report's got a lot of redaction to it. It's pretty bizarre, but there's mention of a mass grave that was located there.
Yes.
And we don't know, they just kind of gloss it over. They don't give a location for it. They don't say why there was a mass grave. Was it like a cholera outbreak?
It's kind of a weird throwaway thing, and you wouldn't think a mass grave was a throwaway line. There's parts of that report, the dossier, the report on Blackthorn, where they discuss a study in funerary practices,
which is odd to me from an anthropology standpoint. There is a section that's heavily redacted on local funerary practices. And I'm going, there's not that much variation in this region of the South on basically how funerals were conducted.
And there's not such a level of mystery when it comes to
like
that
why
era.
Why redacted? It's very odd. But the whole idea is that when we got in there, we felt that this was like just kind of a collision point of like possible different activity that's going on there. That's where we heard those screams at that night and like the gibberish and then the gunshot and then something like just letting out like a crazy, like painful wail. And then all the sounds like scattering. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on out there.
And that was the last major release we had from the Blackthorn area. Where we had that shot in the dark.
So
that incident that occurred.
There's all of this stuff going on. So Jesse got the idea. Somebody had asked, well, Joe, what was that Turd Dog? Well, City Boy ever doing Estes? Not with Dewey's supercharged helmet, of course, because that's only from master level. Well, Jesse decided she was going to do an Estes session there, and we've got some disagreement over it.
But
I still don't think you're talking to dead people.
Right. But at the end of the day, my project, my word trumps all.
So
City
Jesse
boy.
did an Estes session out there to try to make contact. Her goal was to make contact with the deceased.
The former residents of the area, the property, the plantations, the surrounding area. Yes.
The spirits of the deceased residents from there to see if she could get some insight of what else is going on out there. I still don't think you're talking to dead people.
So, in kind of a short way to say this in a less roundabout ways, is to say that my idea was to interview the deceased, the dead, about their Bigfoot experience.
Yeah.
So that is what we did for the Equinox experiment, for the Equinox special investigation that we did. So I think I'm going to release that on Friday. That's what I'm looking at right now. That's what everybody seems to say. But that's what we did. And it was kind of a frightening situation.
I don't want to do any more Estes sessions. That's just it. Because I don't think you're talking to dead people. I think you're making communication with something there. I don't think the spirits of the dead people are like lingering in this. I think you're making contact with something. I just don't think you're making contact with what you think you're making contact with. And I don't think that what's weird though is that we tried a couple different methods. And some of these like spirit communication tools, you always see them like the different boxes and the things, and some of them have like printed words. Some of them have like, an audible like voice coming out and telling you stuff.
We have one that we were using for the
and
experiment.
A lot of people will just say, oh, that's impossible. The dead people wouldn't know how to use that. And I'm going, quite honestly, if it is dead people, I don't know what they could or couldn't use. I don't know. I think I think it's kind of arbitrary to go, okay, there's some invisible forces capable of communication around you, but they can't use that. What the hell? I don't know what the invisible forces around us that are capable of communication are capable of or not.
Right.
I think that's kind of a weird kind of like arbitrary line in the sand to draw over a unknown phenomenon.
Right.
But I will say this, that the one, what do you call it? Like spirit communication tool? You know what I'm saying?
The polterscript.
Yeah, the polterscript.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it works like an Ovilus device. There are several out on the market. There's a lot out there, but basically what the device does is it's got a bank of words that are in there. Now you can use apps for this. I don't really trust apps when it comes to this kind of thing because it just call me old fashioned on that.
Mhm.
But it just seems like that a lot of the word banks for the apps are a little more geared towards more spooky answers instead of a huge word bank of all kinds of words. So this word bank in this particular device that I have has all kinds of words. It's not just
Yeah.
geared towards something spooky. It's not going to just lean into one direction, but it takes environmental changes and it uses that data to produce a word basically. So whatever is out there can use the device to kind of come through and say a word. We got a lot of interesting responses on the polterscript, which we deployed first in our experimentation in the cemetery area. We deployed that first, and then we started ramping things up and started upping the stakes a bit, and eventually went to an Estes session where I went into a mental state, a psychological state, a spiritual state where I'm there and I am listening and connecting with whatever is there. In addition to that, we also had a tool to determine if a presence was actually around us, and that was the Do Pod. It's a device that Dewey Edwards made. He's in the chat right now, and he made this device using a theremin circuit, and it worked. It absolutely worked, and it was really frightening.
Well, the idea, they call it ITC. It's instrumental transcommunication, and it's the idea that disembodied entities or spirits or creatures that exist outside the physical realm can affect and utilize electronic devices in order to establish communication with, like, let's just call it the living. Okay. And what's weird is that we were getting similar messages from two different types of instrumentation. And then when Jessie does the Estes session thing, she's got noise canceling headphones on. She's got a bandana. I'm asking random questions to her, and I'm getting really weird answers. Different than what we got last year when we did that Devil's Graveyard thing, and they were talking about the kin and you'll be clean, all that weird stuff. This was more pointed to what we were discussing, to the point where I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this anymore. There's obvious communication going on here. We are communicating with something that Jessie thinks is a dead person. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a dead person. I think we're communicating with something else. But some of the stuff that was coming back is not the sort of stuff that you want to hear when you're alone in an old graveyard in the middle of the forest with miles back to your vehicle. Is just not on the equinox. It's just not something you want to hear. It's not something I wanted to hear.
And we chose the equinox for a reason. That is a liminal time. That's when we think that the veil could be thin enough to where we could make contact with something or someone out there.
Even if it's not dead people, I like the concept of what you're working with here.
Right.
Is that,
and this also ties in with my contact experiments, my overarching contact experiments project that I am working on. Eventually we will deploy the helmet in that as well.
I just, at least for us, and at least for a lot of other people in the Southern Appalachian region and in the South, Bigfoot doesn't exist in a vacuum oftentimes. It's very multi-layered. It's very complex. And there's different layers of other phenomena that seem to kind of come along with it. Either they're directly caused by the presence of Bigfoot, they're piggybacking on it, they're just drawn, separate phenomena are drawn to the same area at the same time for some unknown reason. But the idea of trying to, we're trying to find something that we're completely physically outclassed by in the forest.
Yeah.
That we're only going to catch glimpses of if it makes a insane mistake, gets really, really curious, or we just get super lucky. But we've always been open about the fact that we started out as Bigfoot hunters. I didn't really want anything to do with any of this crap. You know what I'm saying? But when you start experiencing it on repeated occasions and you start seeing patterns, you have to like either just bury your head in the sand, which is not really in the spirit of like investigation and exploration and trying to like learn answers to like the world's mysteries. Even if it's mysteries you don't really want to get involved with, when you're presented with them and you realize that they're real, you have to kind of go down that path.
Right.
And Jesse's idea is okay, you know, at the core, we're still looking for Bigfoot, but there's other stuff going on here. The Sasquatch in this area don't really seem like they want to communicate or be seen, at least not in this particular area, and at least not with us. But there's other weird stuff going on. We've had stuff thrown at us out there.
I had that moment where I heard that voice in my head.
Yeah, I mean, we've had
come here much.
We've had stuff. One time there could have been a man-sized creature hidden there. It came from really thick foliage. When we were in that one pine forest, there wasn't any way in hell that anything sizable could have hidden close enough to throw something and hit me, but I still got hit in the face. It didn't fall from above. I had my hat on. It would have hit the brim. It hit me under the eye with enough force to leave a mark. If it had been about an inch up, it could have probably damaged my eye.
Yeah.
But and I got ticked off, if you remember that video.
We actually released, didn't we release?
We released that.
We released that to the, I think that was a members.
I think we released that to the public.
I don't think we did.
But I ran around and tried to see if something had thrown or somebody had thrown something. I mean, there wasn't anybody there.
Right.
There's a thing in the paranormal community called apportation, where things are apported. It has a similar root word to teleported. Things just appear and disappear.
Like you'll be sitting here and all of a sudden my lip gloss will fall from the sky.
Yeah, you know, or things will, and that has apported objects. It's not uncommon. Well, I can't say it's not uncommon. It's not common. It's not unheard of.
Looks like it apported into your face, though.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. In the Ape Canyon case, where everybody knows the Bigfoot aspect of the Ape Canyon case, where, you know, miners in a cabin and they're attacked by ape men. Well, you know, there was some other really paranormal based things that go along with that case that the regular flesh and blood Bigfoot community just kind of whitewash over. Everybody loves talking about the Ape Canyon case, but we just like to kick the weirder aspects of it out. They had what could amount to female apparitions that could kind of tie in with like the woman in white lore that is
often seen with Bigfoot encounters.
Well, they had items apport there. I believe he had a pen appear in his hand one time, but objects would appear. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that thing that hit me under the eye, I struggle to come to grips with like the existence of like the paranormal like that. But when it's literally in your face, you have to kind of go, okay, there's something happening here. So I think the idea that you have is sound. Okay, we're after Bigfoot. We're after the tangible creature. We want to get footage of a tangible creature. But this other stuff is interacting with us. Well, since it seems to be interactive, let's see if we can get it to communicate in a way that we can understand. Because I
just heard like a person whistling
in the house.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somebody asked earlier, have you brought any artifacts home with you?
Yes.
The whole damn house is
full of artifacts
that are brought home from various places.
Some are from investigation locations. Some are from just my collection. I've gathered quite a collection over the years of strange things and haunted objects. We actually have a Victorian mourning doll that has a child's actual hair and clothing on it. I have a African revenge fetish that is a tool that is used in rituals of revenge.
I was talking to Hawk earlier, our friend Hawk, and I was just like, we were talking about something, and I go, and if Jessie found a skull, and of course she brought it home with her.
Yeah.
Because we can't go past a weird rock, a bone, some sort of artifact from like a charged location like that without it getting into my backpack and being brought home. When I was cleaning out my truck. And
Let's hear what you find.
And
What
I
treasures?
had a pile next to the truck, a small pile, but a pile nonetheless, of bones, weird rocks,
Pickle
quartz,
wrappers.
just shoved into little nooks and crannies everywhere where she would sneak stuff back in and then hide it and then forget to like bring it out. So yeah, the whole house is filled with like weird stuff that we find out when we're into these locations. And the idea is, and I don't know if I don't like it, but you don't have to like it if it's something that's working. I don't have to like it.
Mm-hmm.
But there does seem to be, and I know that makes us sound crazy to like the brick and mortar Bigfoot people. You know what I'm saying? You know, it makes us sound crazy, but
Our boy Stephen Taylor.
Stephen Taylor.
He's the first person we ever Hellbent house called to. We showed up at his house.
For those of you that are new to the channel, when we're not going to say where he lives at, but we were in the area where Stephen Taylor lived at, and Stephen Taylor was commenting on something, and we went, Stephen Taylor, you better watch out. We'll just show up at your damn house. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. No, you won't. No, you won't. We found Stephen Taylor's address and showed up at his house while we were out on this like investigation.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door. Friend of his answered the door, and we're like, Stephen,
We
here?
pulled up
And he's like, who are you guys? And I'm like, we're from the internet.
from the
So here's the deal.
He said, anyway, back to what Stephen was saying. He said, can you trust what a spirit is actually communicating with you? Not necessarily, but the point is we're trying it. We're trying to use that method. You don't take everything as gospel, but we're still going to try it.
I follow the old
approach.
I follow the old rules of, I don't think a lot of this stuff can outright lie to you. You would deal that when you would be dealing with that's a theme that is repeated throughout different aspects of folklore and mythology and legend, that a lot of times, oftentimes, some of these entities can't lie to you. You'd see that with the fae. Hell, you'd see that with deals with the devil. That the devil was in the details, however, is that it wasn't an outright lie, but you had to be very careful in the communication.
Grain of salt. Grain of salt.
I don't know if I believe.
Grain of salt, pinch of holy water.
The answers that we got during this Estes session were conversational. Occasionally you get like a weird thing out of left field, but
I don't know if they're necessarily going to help. They don't necessarily answer any questions quite directly, but they do add to the case. And I think that we're going to look back on this and it's going to start making sense the deeper we dive and dig into Blackthorn and this case as itself.
I think,
but the answers made sense.
And all the answers made sense. I don't know whether I believe all of it, but they were pointed answers to the questions that I was asking. They made sense. They weren't just, what is your name? I don't know, Blueberry. It actually, we got a man's name when I asked what his name it was.
Classic Blueberry.
And Jesse's ears are pumped with static, and then any occasional. I mean, she's got like the Cadillac of spirit boxes, and she's using like really good.
I'm using Sony noise canceling headphones that are plugged into the box itself.
And then she's blindfolded.
And I'm blindfolded, and I got it cranked up. I also have lights and everything.
So
at me.
But here's the deal: is that I don't know if I trust it, but I understand the reasoning on getting the communication up. It's almost like you've got to play the game knowing that it's going to have some frustration and some false trails on it. But you've still got to play the game, and you've got to be willing, because I think of that sometimes. We talk about that, about how you have to pay the price that the forest wants. It's got to hurt.
Yeah.
You've got to get frustrated. You've got to get to the point of giving up. It can't be easy. You have got to pay the price that the forest, when I say the forest, like that overarching entity wants, in order to get it to reveal itself. And sometimes, you've got to be willing to go down those false trails in order to maybe backtrack and then get on a true trail, something that's true. And
think about this too. Think about if you are approaching this from a, say you're an investigator, as we are investigators, say you're a detective on a case and you interview 5 different witnesses. you're going to have conflicting stories between your witnesses. And it's up to you as a detective investigator to kind of parse out what's real and what's not real. So it's the same kind of thing is we're going to dig in. We're going to physically dig in. We're going to dig into the history. We're going to do investigations into the history. We're going to try these communication and contact methods, and we're going to see what lines up. And that's how you determine what is real and what's not, is when you have all the stuff that lines up from all of these different areas, and we're pulling from different places and using different methods to get information. What information is consistent throughout all of these methods of investigation? You know, that's kind of how I'm looking at it, right?
Jerry, welcome back to the membership. We appreciate
Jerry.
your support. We're community supported bunch of weirdos here. We're not beholden to big corporate Bigfoot, but corporate Bigfoot. But I think that
buy my casting material.
I think that you have to go into that knowing that it's going to mess with you. You can't do this without having these phenomena.
You got to know what the risks are for sure, and accept those risks and understand that you're going to have to do something to mitigate that. There's nothing, if you want to be a world-class weightlifter, you're going to get a hernia every now and then. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go into whatever you're doing, if you're doing something honestly and intensely enough, and with all of your gusto and everything you have, if you're committing to something like that, and giving your all to something like that, you know that there is a price to be paid.
Well, you remember one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me was when we were in the Grove and we were trying to run long duration audio recorders out there, and the recorders kept failing when I got on site to place them. And I would test them at home. I would test them in the vehicle before we hiked in. And then we would get there and I would try to set them up in the location where we had previously heard like a disembodied growl.
Right.
And it would never work. And then the final time I went to do it, and I kept like adapting and kept changing the design and everything like that in order to try to make it fail safe, try to make it like just foolproof, that there's no way that this thing is not going to like malfunction now. And we got out there and I turned it on and the damn thing burned up in front of my eyes. It flashed on and then it never worked again. I didn't know it at the time. I saw it flash on, but it basically burned out.
Right.
And I remember we were leaving out of there and I was so frustrated. And this is an area in the Grove that has got a history of very aggressive encounters. The reason why we went there was a witness who was a bow hunter in the area got aggressively chased out by, he called it a Bigfoot, but when you talk to these people, nobody sees like a Bigfoot. They see large, dark, kind of hairy, aggressive creatures chasing them out. But when you try to get them to describe the face, or does it have like ape features or Bigfoot features, look like a caveman, what do you see? Everybody sticks to the same story. And it's always just these large, dark, hairy creatures, which is also, I'm going to do a quick side note here real quick. That's got a parallel with supernatural lore.
Right.
There's, especially through Western Europe, it's that the face that no one remembers. They have these encounters with these things, but they can't ever recall the face. So that's got a real deep paranormal pedigree. And on the quote unquote Bigfoot encounters there, nobody can describe the face except for one guy who saw a Bigfoot, didn't describe it as tall, but the guy who saw the face and can't get the face out of his head now. It's just, but anyway, super frustrated, watched it break for the final time we tried it there. And I was frustrated, I'm ranting and I'm going, this is just BS. We're going to end up dying out here. And then just right as I said that, I had the most intrusive thought I've ever had in my entire life, not in my own like mental voice. And something said, oh, we're not going to kill you. We're having too much fun effing with you. But didn't say effing. Oh, we're not going to kill you. We're having too much fun effing with you. And I went, what the hell? And that stuck with me because even if that was not something communicating with me, it holds true. The stuff likes to mess with you. And sometimes you have to be willing to put up with being messed with in order to maybe get some answers at that point. And I think that's true no matter what aspect of these phenomena you're looking into. There's a trickster element that you have to appease, and the only way to appease it is to give it what it wants sometimes. And unfortunately, what it wants is for you to be uncomfortable, you to be frustrated, you're ready to quit, physical pain sometimes. But when you do that, sometimes you get what you're after, but you have to be willing to pay that price. And I think going into this communication experiment, you're going to go down some false trails.
Absolutely.
You're going to be given false information that we're going to have to explore cautiously, but we're still going to have to explore, because I don't think in these cases we have any control over it. And I think people who think that they have control and that they can demand something, that's obviously not the case. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had said earlier, I think it was Sarge had said, and let me see if I can.
I've got a lot of stuff marked too.
Sarge had said, I believe that the spirits of the dead have more important things to do than chat with ghost hunters. Do they? If it is the spirits of the dead, do they? Do they? I don't know what condition they're in. Are they trapped in some sort of like gray limbo where this is the only amusement they have? Same thing for like disembodied entities or things that maybe have a weird blend of the physical and the non-physical. Maybe this is like Saturday night at the movies for them. Maybe it's just enjoyable. Maybe they have a non-biological, because they're not biological, but a non-biological imperative to mess with people. Maybe it's ingrained in them and that's their entire nature. When you look at trickster legends,
I know if I die before you,
I'm going to get tortured. It's going to be terrible.
Terrorizing you.
Socks going missing, just all sorts of crazy stuff.
And of course, you'll be sleeping and you'll hear, never get remarried.
I'll hear like rapping on the
not
wall,
allowed.
and I'll be like, that's a damn Cardi B tune. Jesse's not a Cardi B.
I am.
Anyway, so strangely enough, strangest thing we'll talk about tonight. Anyway,
the weirdest
thing. But I think that it is maybe in the nature of some of these creatures to mess with you. And when there's no people to mess with, some of them might sit around and wait for people to appear to mess with. I don't know. I can't put motive or anything like that behind them. All we can do is judge by the actions that we see. And the actions appear to be that these things either take enjoyment or have a need to just mess with people. And maybe it's not even messing with us. Maybe it's not, maybe I'm misjudging it. Maybe it's not messing with us. Maybe that's their attempt to communicate. And we just see it as something that's frustrating us.
Yeah.
We're not
quite putting the pieces together.
We don't know the language of whatever it is that's trying to deal with us.
Correct.
Timothy Renner from Strange Familiars has a great story about when Timothy Renner often finds skulls in odd places when he's in the woods, much like us. He thought it to be a threatening thing until he had a gentleman tell him, well, you don't understand the language of what it is you're dealing with. Maybe that's not a threat to whatever it's dealing with it. For humans, a skull is a threatening symbol.
Do you remember early on, this is a side note, talking about Timothy Renner. Do you remember early on when we were doing this, when we first started doing this, and we were in that area in North Georgia where we heard that scream that sounded like a siren that we didn't get, but we were investigating that area where we found the climbing gear up in the tree.
You found that skull.
We were talking about Timothy Renner, and I think us being such big Timothy Renner fans, Strange Familiars and everything. I actually have a really nice Timothy Renner print right there. But we were talking about that. That was something that was very much on the forefront of our mind. And we had talked about the skulls. We had talked about, some theories that he was going through. And when we first started out, we were very much in that vein and really had a lot of Strange Familiar stuff on the mind. And then we're hiking down the road and I get a glint of something shiny. And it's on the side of this old forestry road. And I go and I pick it up. And it's a metal, like gear shifter knob. Yeah. Like a aftermarket gear shifter knob that is just a metal skull.
Just laid there pretty as you please.
And we had just talked about that exact thing. And there it was, a skull. And then what you would expect to find is a deer skull or something like that in the woods. But it was a metal, like gear shifter skull. So I don't know, just an aside, but go ahead. Thank you, Turd Dog.
Mr. Dog, thank you, sir.
Mr.
Dog, sir. Heather goes, heck yeah, bring home all the cool spooky stuff.
Yes.
When Jesse first met Heather at the OBL when we were taking part in the STM OBL documentary, they had just like briefly just interacted with one another. And like Jesse goes,
Bringing home
Jesse
Christmas
found like a rock. He found a cool rock. And she goes, I'm going to give Heather this rock. And I'm like, Heather doesn't want your damn weird rock that you found in the middle of nowhere. And she goes, I bet she does. And then Jesse, we go back to meet Heather, and
Sorry.
Jesse is like, I got you this rock. And Heather's just like ecstatic. She's like, it's like Christmas just came early. Is it penguins that give each other weird rocks
Yes,
as like
it is
token of
penguins.
appreciation? So yeah, just like a bunch of weird penguins hanging out in the LBL, giving each other the rocks. And
He was trying to get up on the table earlier.
Miranda, our buddy Miranda.
Hey, Miranda.
Joe was on a roll tonight. Preach it, Joe. Thank you, buddy.
Well, we keep our anthropologist around.
So it's just, but it's weird. And if you don't look at this Bigfoot phenomenon in a vacuum, and again, that's the role we've been on lately, is we are embracing the traditional roots of Bigfoot in the Southern Appalachians. And
Yeah, so this is not a new thing.
No, it's
Tying
not.
the supernatural to Sasquatch is not a new thing. This has older roots than this quote unquote pseudoscientific approach to it, where people think it's a monkey running through the woods.
yeah.
The supernatural bent on Sasquatch has older roots than that by far, especially in this region.
Yeah, and you can't. We've always talked about how Bigfoot in the American South is very culturally encoded. It's not just, you do have occasional, I just saw a big hairy man. You have those wild man stories, but there's like almost two different phenomena here. There's like a wild man, and then there's Bigfoot. And at least in the American South, the wild man is just kind of like that. It's a hairy, maybe he's kind of big and maybe he's kind of fast and, and he's hard to catch, but there's none of the weirdness that goes along with it. But then there's the wood boogers. There's the Bigfoot aspect, which almost always has some sort of supernatural elements to it. And if Bigfoot itself is not the root cause of that, then it's keeping some really strange company.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some things that kind of tag along behind it and beside it. And when Bigfoot's seen, there's other weird things that are hitching along for the ride with it. Maybe Bigfoot has hitchhiking entities that go along with it.
Maybe he wants rid of them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows?
HGMC has one here. Ghost lights are often associated with the Fae, and Fae are sometimes seen as large, hairy humanoids.
Yeah,
I thought that would kind of connect to what you were saying.
If you
as well.
look at Fae behavior and then you look at Bigfoot behavior, Bigfoot could be viewed as just an aspect of the Fae. And it's not even just what Bigfoot does, it's the way that people interact with it. In a lot of fairy lore, you leave an offering of food in order to not necessarily interact with the fairy. It's often to get the Fae to leave you alone. This whole modern thing of purposely seeking out these entities, well, that's kind of a departure from couple 100,000 years of human behavior of trying to avoid this stuff.
Yeah.
Now we've gotten so disassociated with it and so numbed and deadened to like the mysteries of the world that we seek it out, much like we do, to try to get it. We're trying to rediscover what our ancestors knew all along. But in the past, you would often interact with the Fae by offerings of food or little trinkets.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, what do people do when they're doing like Bigfoot habitation? They're leaving food for it. They're putting out the little marbles, hoping that the Bigfoot messes with it.
Zagnuts,
Zagnuts.
pancakes.
But has a direct parallel to how people used to interact with the Fae at this point. Yeah, the balls of light. One of the things that I always found very interesting is in the Bigfoot phenomenon, you often find footprints. Sometimes just one or two. Now that could be attributed to the fact that the ground is not the same, hardness, and some patches are damp and the soil differential, but you'll often find maybe just one or two footprints and you can't find what made it. Well, like one of the old, Victorian ghost hunter tricks, if you had a haunted house, was to put flour on the floor. And then the next morning you would find footprints that had no apparent cause, that just maybe one or two of them. And then they just appeared with no, there's no footprints on this patch of flour here.
We could adapt that with Dogman and cocaine, though.
Oh, we could talk, really get.
That's
cocaine
how
Dogman
we
going.
find the Dogman.
So, but there's a direct parallel to that. And we've really kind of leaned into that. And it's weird because when we were doing these conferences, like I said, we did 3 really big conferences this year. And that's probably going to be it for conferences for a while. 3 big speaking engagements. And we were just like, screw it. I'm not going to do something just like cookie cutter. We're from the South. We're dealing with the Southern Appalachian Bigfoot phenomenon. And that seems to be much different than people in the Pacific Northwest and people in the Midwest. And let's talk about what we experience. And as we really started to do research for this presentation on Bigfoot in the Southern Appalachians, through what we researched and what we've experienced, it's undeniable that there's weirder aspects that go along with this. And even people who just give you what on the surface is a flesh and blood Bigfoot encounter, when you scratch that surface a little bit and you dig down a little bit deeper,
You start to discover
nothing
there's a
else
lot more
happened
to it.
weird. Nope. Really?
Well,
And then you start hearing, sometimes it's subtle, weird stuff. Sometimes it's in your face, weird stuff. But I do want to circle back to that thing of, there is something to the hitchhiker effect.
yes.
Where you go into these weird areas and you bring something back and you start having weird activity in your home. Maybe that's where these weird supernatural phenomena are that are associated with Bigfoot. Maybe Bigfoot gets hitchhikers. Maybe members of that species are even more susceptible to getting more blatantly obvious aspects of the hitchhiker
Because they're
maybe
closer to it.
they straddle 2 worlds, and
Oh, wow.
so maybe that stuff gloms onto them, and that's what we're experiencing in these areas with Bigfoot stuff.
That's some big brain energy stuff right there.
I'm using the old noodle there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, maybe that's something that happens, and maybe that's why when Bigfoot appears,
Maybe you need more creatine.
maybe when you just a joke. So Jessie was just is getting back into weightlifting and all that. So she was feeding me creatine the other day. And I was like, I know I'm just going to have all sorts of crazy side effects. So for the next 2 days, anytime something happened, I'd be like, it's that damn creatine. So
Yeah, everything was the
matter
fault
what,
of the
shoe
creatine.
came untied, anything, it's the creatine. So, but maybe that's it. Maybe that's when people have Bigfoot encounters. The weird stuff,
It has nothing to do with you. You're just witnessing their hitchhiker effect that they're experiencing.
and that's why you're seeing the balls of light.
Oh,
It's not the
whoa.
Bigfoot, it's the stuff that's latched onto Bigfoot. Again, maybe it's more susceptible because it straddles the liminal. It's in our world and it's in another world at that point. So that's something to maybe kind of and again, you can't prove it. How the hell am I going to prove that? But it's something to keep in mind.
Did you hear what Joe from Hellbent Holler was saying?
He can't prove that.
The Bigfoots are haunted.
Why? Again, here's the deal. Just the idea that there's a Bigfoot out there, everything's on the freaking table at that point. The sky is the limit. You can't just go, well, I'm going to allow this mystery to exist, but I'm going to poo-poo all these other mysteries.
What if they're asking us for help?
Get rid of these damn balls of light that are following me around, people, please. And it's just, you can't just, you can't use one unknown to explain another unknown. Why the hell not? It's an unknown. You don't know what the answer is, or it wouldn't be unknown.
I'm a grown-ass man.
I'm a grown-ass man. I'll explain an unknown with 10 unknowns if I want to. I'm a grown-ass man doing grown-ass man things. Do what I want. Anyway.
It's definitely unknown is that you can't tell me what to do.
Matter of fact, that's what I want. Joe Doyle, grown-ass man of the Bigfoot community. Grown-ass man.
I can change your...
Hi, Joe. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm a grown-ass man. It's the first thing you need to know. Grown-ass man. I'll talk about orbs all I want. Anyway. Is anybody still tuned in, or do we lose everybody? Anyway.
Welcome to Orbapalooza.
JD, our buddy JD, I was talking to JD earlier this week. We were palavering. Jessie, when you do the helmet, are you doing it with other people around you besides Joe in case you guys need help
So
if something goes wrong?
I have very strict rules about using the helmet.
Dewey gave her Dewey built the helmet for her, but it came with some conditions.
There are conditions, yeah. So it's one of one. Dewey said he's never making another one again because it's so powerful. It's I feel like he's like the Oppenheimer of the paranormal world. And when he presented it to me in that case, and he's telling me about this, he's so kind of shook up about giving it to me. He is kind of the Oppenheimer of the paranormal world, because if I am able to do what I trying to do, what I plan on doing with the helmet and other devices, it is going to be like a nuclear bomb on, you know, the way that we interact with the world that we know and how we see the world.
If there is such a thing as, I don't want to say divine guidance, I just want to say outside guidance when you're building something like that, like maybe an inspiration that comes from elsewhere. A guiding hand, I think that's what, that sounds so freaking pretentious, I know. Not for Dewey, because I could see stuff like that working through Dewey. I would not be surprised if Dewey Edwards called me up tomorrow and said, Joe, I was tinkering around in the garage and I think I built a time machine. Tell me more, Dewey. But that it would be knowing it was coming to us. I'm not trying to say we're that awesome, but although we are that awesome. But
any more caveats to this sentence?
When Dewey unveiled the helmet,
yeah, it was it.
Ron Lanham from Wild Weird, West Virginia, and I are standing there, and Ron Lanham ain't the dumbest dude in the world. Okay, Ron Lanham's a pretty brilliant dude. We're both just standing there with hands over our mouths, just going,
yeah, because it's scary.
And I'm like,
you're looking at the nuclear bomb.
We were talking about a helmet, and instead you built like, it's like a helmet, but we're getting into like,
it's a helmet shaped key.
It's like hemispheric sink, and I'm just going, how did you come up with this? And Dewey just basically started building. I think the machine was there waiting for Dewey's hands to come along and put it into creation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wow.
But one of the things is that we have to have a paramedic, an EMT. What's the difference between a paramedic and EMT?
Let's not get into the minutia of paramedics.
We have to have somebody on site during the initial test run to monitor Jesse's vitals and make sure it's okay.
Because it's going to have a profound psychological effect and physical effect on me as I go through and as we start to ramp it up. So with the traditional God helmet, it's just you turn it on and it produces a weak kind of signal. This is the spinal tap of spirit communication devices, because you can turn it up to 11. So I'm not allowed to actually, this is a roundabout way of answering this question, but I'm not allowed to operate the device alone. I'm never allowed to, if I'm home alone, just pop the sucker open, put it on and try to make contact, because there's a possibility that I can't turn it off, that something will happen to me physically or psychologically, and then I won't be able to turn it off or remove it. So Joe could come home from work and I'm just a steaming pile of psychosis on the floor because of this. So we're trying, we do have strict rules about that. But I do think that this device, I'm scared of this device.
A regular God helmet shoots little like electrical impulses through you, and it's just a little headband. You can do all this other stuff. You can find the plans online, because Dewey found the plans online and then used that as inspiration for what he came up with. The helmet, and it's spelled with 2 L's, Hellbent Holler helmet, get it? Is more like there's a process called transcranial magnetic stimulation where they basically, and then it's hemispheric. You have 2 different hemispheres of it. You have 2 different controls. And the whole goal of this is to like really overstimulate your brain and bring both hemispheres of your brain into sync with one another. It's called hemisync.
Yeah.
The Monroe Institute, people that did a lot of this stuff that now is being tied into the UAP community and making contact with interdimensional beings and all of this stuff. They would go through a series of exercises to try to bring their brain into hemisync, to synchronize the 2 hemispheres. Well, Dewey's going to do it with pure brute electrical force. And we don't know what it's going to do.
Shooting into my brain.
Yeah, we don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to do something. I'm almost guarantee you it's going to do something.
He is the Oppenheimer.
It's going to do something just because one of the things that always fascinated me with like religious relics, and this basically goes across multiple religions, although most people think about relics of the saints with the Catholic Church.
Right.
Is that you would have true relics, like the jawbone of Saint Francis, or something like that. Just these and those are usually pieces of the saint's body, or objects that had a close personal connection to a saint, like a staff or something like that they carried for most of their life. Well, you will also have relic recreations, things that were recreated to be an exact copy of the actual relic. And then basically you would touch it, you would touch the copy to the real relic. But then from that point on, everyone treated the copy as if it was the relic itself. And it would be capable of some of the extraordinary feats that an actual relic would be capable of. Some of the Eastern, like, religions, traditions, whatever you want to call them, would tell you in some of the, and I'm going to butcher the example. Actually, this was a Timothy Renner thing. Tim Renner was talking about this, that in some of the rituals, it would tell you that you needed a knife that had been used to sacrifice 5 men. And if you couldn't get that, you had to get a knife that was used to sacrifice 3 men. And if you couldn't get that, well, you got a knife and you told it you were used to sacrifice 5 men. And you believed with all of your heart that that's what this was.
I got a guy, though, so.
The intent was what gave it authority at that point. And we have got so much intent on the helmet that I think that if maybe it was just something that somebody cobbled together and they weren't into all this weird stuff and then they did it, maybe it wouldn't have the effect that it's going to have.
Right.
Because you have got, like, we call it the Thundar approach, that weird blend of super science and just flat out freaking sorcery. And that's what we've got at this point. Everybody has built the helmet up that we're like, kind of like, we're anxious to try it out.
I'm insanely anxious to try it
but
out.
we're also very trepidatious about trying it. We're nervous about trying it.
Well, when I say anxious, I mean I have a certain level of fear about trying it out because it is my brain. Which ain't good to start with.
Now you got a bad brain.
We're starting from a bad one. So
you got bad brain syndrome. Lady Wolf, remember, for 23 months, Lady Wolf is one of the freaking G's, the OG that will never go away. Love my bosses in the Hellbent Holler family. I got a few random things here I want to star. We're just going to freaking town tonight.
I got one from Monica on there that you
Walter Ballard.
Walter Ballard.
He's an OG as well. Walter's been here from the beginning. He just changed his membership level 17 months ago. Miranda Crew. The OGs are up in here.
We're out
Found
tonight.
a great group of people to call family.
We launched memberships Halloween of 2023.
Yeah, we did. And we have
when we were filming Dogman Territory with Small Town Monsters.
Our buddy Nathan from the Quantum Show. What helmet? God helmet, Shiva helmet. It's the helmet with 2 L's. Helmet color. And it's like, it looks like something that somebody smuggled out of like a lab from like the 1950s that was trying to like reverse engineer.
It definitely looks like a black site machine.
It looks crazy. It's crazy. And it is, we did a little video like releasing it where Dewey presented it to her. And it's from the mind of the Dooster, the Wizard of Soggy Bottom. So it is crazy. Monica, our buddy Monica. Joe, I like grown-ass man a whole lot more than city boy. Grown-ass man coming through. This is a freaking great one. If Oppenheimer was the destroyer of worlds, then the Dooster is the combiner of worlds. Dooster's
I loved that line.
Build a bridge. But so that's our goal.
I hope he's not the engineer of the apocalypse.
Probably is. Joe, I think I opened up a hellmouth.
Joe, I'm going to need a little help over
I'm just going to let it run for a while, see what happens.
You never know.
I needed to trim these bushes back anyway, and it looks like so
Hellmouth landscaping.
So that's our goal getting into spooky season.
Yeah.
For the next at least couple of months, we're going to lean into the spooky. Now, it's not for spooky's sake, but we want to see.
We're going to take it like we usually do. We're taking advantage of the time and the space that we have right now.
This liminal area when this stuff seems stronger. And we said before, I don't know, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that it felt like everything was building. It just felt like there was a pressure building.
So we're ready to ride the wave.
An unseen supernatural or, beyond the ordinary pressure. And then a couple of weeks ago, we were like, it's here. It's here. We feel it's here. They're finding deceased grown men in the national forests that have no apparent cause of death or a really wonky cause of death. the amount of people that are going, and I don't want to get super grim, but there's some grim aspects to it. I think it's here. I think that there's weird stuff going on. I think it's really weird that what is I don't even remember the designation, the giant rock that's supposedly hurtling at us, that's extra from outside our solar system, 3ALI or whatever it is. The fact that we should have like images of that, and you're getting conflicting information from like the European Union and the Chinese, and NASA's gone dark with the government shutdown. So it's just all very weird. We're leaning into it. We're going to lean into the weird in the pursuit of Bigfoot. So not for weird's sake, not for spooky sake, but we're going to lean into it. And we're just like, you know what? It's been on our minds, that supernatural tie-in to Bigfoot. And people can go, oh, you know, you don't need to introduce the woo into Bigfoot. At least in this neck of the woods, the woo's there. You can like lie to yourself all you freaking want to.
Yeah.
And you can lie publicly if you don't want to say it publicly because you're afraid of what other people will say. But I'm a grown-ass man, damn it.
I say what I want.
Say what I want.
I don't care what you say.
We're leaning into the spooky. I'm not totally comfortable with it. I'm less comfortable with more stuff than other things. I don't know if we're doing any more SD sessions for a while.
We are.
So, but we'll see, man. We'll see. So
what do normal married couples argue about? Definitely not using psychic powers and methods to contact the dead. What do they argue about? Like, too much fabric softener?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's watch Friends tonight. No, I want to watch, I don't even know. What's the big TV show nowadays?
Frasier.
Frasier's real big. Yeah.
Big, huge show.
I like how we can sit here and talk about relic recreation across multiple, you know, cultural traditions, but I don't know what the main TV show is. What is the most popular TV show?
Your favorite show, Peacemaker.
Peacemaker is pretty awesome. So, most popular.
I got to go do a Piatine for my creatine. BRB, everybody. Yo, you're on.
I don't know what any of these are. It's that creatine affecting you. So, Michael Tubbler's got a thing. I wonder if the knocks and sounds and knocks researchers here in the woods are more paranormal than Bigfoot. I struggle with now, we were hearing like branch breaks. To me, that makes sense. Something very large and powerful, grabbing a small tree and snapping it, or a big branch and snapping it. But the wood knocking thing is weird to me, because you'll see Bigfoot people take like their little bats out into the woods to do wood knocks. Well, why are you doing that? Because you just can't pick up most fallen branches from the ground and get a good wood knock with them. The branch will break. It's rotten, or it's soggy, or something like that. It's not very conducive to a good wood knock. So some people say, well, they're making the sound with their mouths, like a kind of noise.
What about this?
We have heard what sounded like chest beating before. Now, there is another thing, too, that chimpanzees have been seen to do what's called root thumping, where they'll get excited and they'll run up to roots and kind of drum on them. But as far as like that single kind of like sound,
Yeah.
Some people say they do it with their mouths. Some people think it's like a jaw popping thing, similar to like a black bear, but like on steroids. Some people think that it's the creatures appearing in our reality, and that's the sound of the displacement of the air.
Whoa. Yeah.
Here's the other thing too. Again, you start looking at if you brought somebody in that was completely culturally ignorant of all of these phenomena, and you just explained to them, well, this is what a poltergeist is supposed to do, and this is what a Bigfoot does. And if they didn't have any like backstory on either one, they would just go, what's that one meme of the other popular TV show, The Office, where they show the woman two different photos and she goes,
it's the same picture.
It's the same thing. It's the same picture.
That's the most popular show.
That is the most popular show. Well, you know, we've got this thing and you can't quite see it or find it, but it makes loud rapping noises. It smells bad.
It's Cardi B.
It leaves disembodied footprints. We hear moans and screams that we can't find the source for. Electrical equipment will go kind of wonky sometime for no reason. One's in a house and one's in the woods. Well, it's the same damn thing. It's just in different spots, you know? So you might be right. It might be Something like that, or maybe the Bigfoot's there and it's not the Bigfoot that's doing these. Maybe it's the same thing that does it in the woods that does it in the house. And Bigfoot's there too going, I don't know what the hell's making these noises. I wish it would leave me alone. So
please help. That's the Bigfoot asking you to help him.
My buddy Bonnie Blue, Jesse and Heather need to give tours of their haunted dolls and objects. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing. If paranormal programming was still a thing on like network television, I would be
Joe, big time producer with his cigar. Tell us your idea for the greatest show.
You and Heather from Small Town Monsters.
Okay.
With like a whole Buffy Willow type thing going on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like it.
And you go into these small towns and you go almost like we're like a Xena
Gabrielle
type thing.
Are we gonna have that lesbian tension?
Those are the implications.
The implication.
You got the implications there. But just doing you guys ought to do like a little like spooky kind of team up showing all your stuff. Way of the Sploot, Jesse, I hope you got I hope you got good info data. Joe, stay cautious. It might try to play you against each other. Is there a way to let Jesse know if you're attacked spiritually or physically during a session? The way we bicker on investigations, how would we know?
I would be very nice.
Yes, indeed. I think Jesse is under control of something.
Is this Jesse the ghost or the creatine talking?
And if it is the ghost, would you like to hang out and just inhabit her for a while? Say the next, I don't know, 40 years or so?
Can this ghost cook?
Can this ghost cook? Ghost, how's your meatloaf? Anyway. Let's see what else we got here. You got some other stuff starred. Turdog had asked, where's the rock? I don't know where the rock is. It's here somewhere, I hope. We had to, when the
rock is actually on the patio.
Okay, when the ceiling came down, the
rock is relaxing on the patio. That's where he is.
It's having a siesta. Mr. Joseph Cannon, I like the way y'all do things. Keep up the hard work. Thank you so much, my friend. We appreciate the support. We need that support more than ever now. We're getting into the season. We are getting ready to ramp it up a notch. Like Jesse said, we struggled so much this summertime with getting anything done, with the weather, with just the resulting like overgrowth of foliage and plant life.
Yep.
The resulting like increase in venomous snake population. It's been one frustration after another. And it's still kind of unseasonably warm, and we were actually out in the rain, but it wasn't like a major downpour. We can operate in like most weather, but a lot of times we've had some really violent storms happening through here, and we're kind of getting through that. So we're poised. We're poised for greatness, Jesse.
How'd you hear that?
Yes, indeed.
Kite. Oh, I got one.
Sorry, Lady Wolf had a good one here. So
enjoy. Yes.
Lady Wolf, we need to get an update on the patient, by the way. She knows what we're talking about.
Can I put one up?
Go right ahead.
Do I have permission?
Yes.
Kaiju Ninja 1985 says, is Jesse working on the next Small Town Monsters Hellbent Holler documentary? Methinks there might be something in the future.
Might be something in the future.
Might be something in the works. Who knows?
Who knows what the future may bring?
It's very veiled. We did a great job.
Veiled, yes.
We did an awesome job.
I don't know. We love all the small. Matter of fact, if you have,
we can't say anything official.
We have most of the same people, but we're smaller, obviously. But Small Town Monsters just released that. Really,
I think you're taller than everyone, though. You say we're smaller.
Really good.
I think that
big margin. You ought to see me when I'm like around like Alex and Seth and Aaron. It looks
Seth's
like
pretty tall.
A grown out. Yeah, not as tall as me though. Looks like a child next to me.
Just a little tiny Seth.
A child next to me. You know what I'm saying? We're out with Alex hiking around. I'm having to help him over like rocks. Oh, I'm sorry, you're too short. Here, but they just released the beginning of their field investigation that they did.
Yes, they did. Yes.
And Aaron's out in the woods with night vision cameras and everything like that. This is like the start of it, but it's good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. So if you haven't seen that, hop on over and check out the latest STM thing. But we love the STM crew. They're good people in a field where there sometimes is a drought of good people. STM are some of the good ones. Cody Cox hitting the LBL this weekend. Anybody have any current reports of anything? Does anyone have any current reports on the LBL? Cody, when we're done, or you can do it now, leave a comment under the video, not in the chat, but like a regular video comment. And if anybody has anything currently in the LBL,
reply to his comment.
Respond to it. And Cody, you can get into the members Discord and ask, and we can like talk some in there. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you know if we hear anything and everything like that. But let's help Cody have a good LBL outing there.
Did you get your big win? You had one where Hawk was addressing you on there.
No, I did not see it. So I did not see Hawk
that
here.
one there.
Hey, what's up, Hawk? Damn. I did not see that, Hawk. How did I miss that? Got a 50 spot. Joe, I found a tree in 2012 that had been broke open at the top, so it was flat. It had been bent curved so it could be pulled back to hit an adjacent tree, and that tree had bark missing from where this bent tree had been pulled back to hit it. We found a weird tree bend that was like it, you know, a lot of times you have springy ones that are like kind of like bent and then like lashed down with like the branches woven or just whatever. This one was like shattered bent. It was bent into an arch, but the damn thing had broken. And we're looking at it going, how did this happen? There's no snow load in this area, even in the middle of winter.
Definitely not.
But that's interesting. But hey, here's the deal. You've got something that maybe bridges two aspects of like Bigfootology. You've got tree bends and arches, and then the tree knocks. Maybe sometimes those tree knocks are some of the arched trees letting go back. That's interesting, man. Thank you for that, buddy. By the way, thank you for that. So, followed by our buddy Michael Telbar. Happy spooky season. Jesse and Joe, your work is awesome. No, you are awesome.
This is an important thing, too, that Walter has here. Yeah, thank you, Michael, for that. For Cody Cox, sir, Walter Ballard says LBL probably crawling with bow hunters. Now, if you do field investigations, right now is the time that you need to be very, very hyper aware of the areas that you are going out in. If you're going to a wildlife management area or somewhere where people hunt, make sure you are wearing your blaze orange. Make sure you're fully aware of hunting regulations, when people are hunting, when the season begins, even when the season is not going. Right now is the time, and you might get poachers out there. But if you're going out there, wear your blaze orange. Joe and I do it when we're out in these areas because you never know. You don't want to get, it's just a PSA. So make sure you check into all of that and wear your blaze orange when you're out in the woods.
And if you were going out, like we had an investigation planned in an area in the LBL that we had pretty well mapped out what we were going to do. When we got there and there was a guy going in to set up hunting, and we exchanged a few words with him. And he was going to go set up. And we decided, you know what? We'll do this another day because I don't want to mess with this dude's hunt. I don't know what this dude's got going on. Maybe this dude works like freaking 7 days a week, and he's been looking forward to this one day where he's going to take a day off and go hunting for a while. And then there's a couple of like jackballs hunting Dogman.
Maybe he doesn't have a ghost-possessed wife. Maybe he's got like a regular wife.
And he's trying to just go hunting for like a day to get away from this non-possessed wife. And so, yeah, just, you know, it's Walter's got a great thing is that, you know, both for safety and respect, everybody out there, let's all try to make sure that we're being respectful.
Kayla Flair, she's one of our newest members. Can I ask you guys what got you started doing these videos? Like, what got you into it?
The old timers know, the OGs know.
The old timers.
I had been involved with Bigfoot research for most of my adult life. I'd had a sighting of something when I was a kid that I don't know. I saw what you could call a Bigfoot, but I don't know if I dreamed it or somebody hoaxed me or if it was real.
Joe told a story to Alex Petikoff for his Appalachian Bigfoot series.
Yeah. And you know what? I got beef with that, by the way, because the thumbnail,
they called it Stupid Sleepy Scout Sees Sasquatch.
It was like, because I was in the Boy Scouts when I had this possible sighting. I was a much better looking kid than that. I was a pretty handsome kid. Boy Scout they used from like standing is kind of goofy looking.
Wait, the AI Boy Scout they used for the thumbnail?
No, did not capture my rugged masculine charm there.
Your rugged masculine charm.
So anyway, so I'd been involved in Bigfoot research from that initial sighting, dream, hoax, whatever it was, that's what planted the seed. But I never found damn luck after that, you know. I went into like various hotspots and did all this and just really never had luck. And Jesse was more into the paranormal type stuff. Typical goth chick. So we met in New Orleans, and when we moved back to the, this neck of the woods where we were both from, we were doing a lot of hiking and whatnot, but we really weren't doing anything like cryptid or paranormal related. I'd kind of let that kind of fizzle out in my life because, I was living in New Orleans, I was living in the city, and I'd have to travel out, it'd have to be a planned thing. And then you'd do all this time and expense, and then nothing would happen. And it just kind of fizzled. And we moved up here and we started hiking all the time. And we heard a story of a guy who was making the rounds on some podcasts that he, just north of us, had been out hiking near a waterfall and had seen
a shape-shifting witch.
Shape-shifting witch.
I didn't know that was my cue.
That was your cue to jump in there.
Oh, a shape-shifting witch.
So
I'm just letting
we were
go.
like, we know where that's at. So we went up there just to kind of check it out, legend tripping. And we had a bunch of really weird, scary stuff happen. It's Panther Town is where it's at. And we got out and we just drove home. We didn't really say a word to each other. And we're just kind of like.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most terrifying instances of our lives. But we, I think I've described that on a couple of different interviews that I've done. But that's kind of what got us into it.
We had a moment where we were going, we're either never going in the woods again, or if this stuff is like really going on around here, we need to get some cameras and document it and show people that it's really happening, that this isn't just a bunch of BS. We heard this on like a podcast and we just, this is just a good story. And then we went there and we didn't experience a shape-changing witch, but something was messing with us. And we then just got some cameras. We ordered a used Chinese knockoff camcorder that had a night vision thing off Amazon warehouse. And the battery sucked and the audio sucked and everything like that. And that was our camera. And we're out trying to and then we got some knockoff GoPros, like secondhand. What were those? Akaso cameras or something like that? Akaso. And then we were using an Akaso. I can't really want to dog it because then the Akaso people saw us using one of their cameras and sent us another one for free. That was pretty cool. But that's like literally we had our camp.
We were in the pocket of big knockoff camera.
Knockoff GoPro.
Knockoff GoPro.
So we started doing it then, and we just had a couple of cameras. And then the way this turned into what it is right now, this weird fusion of like folklore and tech, is that something would happen and we couldn't document it. We couldn't capture it. We couldn't film it. We couldn't record it. And we would come back and we would go, if we had this, we could have gotten it. So that's how our equipment built, is that we would encounter things that our current equipment loadout couldn't document. So we would come back and we'd plan and we didn't, this is where all of our spare money goes to.
It was just kind of a perfect storm of interest, excitement, drive, and crazy.
And we didn't have like the necessary skill set. I mean, we were good in the outdoors and we
to
both
a degree.
had,
I ended up having to, over the years, I've gotten wilderness first aid training. I'm wilderness first
survival
aid certified,
training at a survival school.
All that stuff.
And I didn't know anything about sound. I didn't know anything about infrasound. And that's something that we had to basically, we always say that if we stop doing this tomorrow,
the skills we've acquired,
the education we've gotten doing this is insane.
I had to teach myself editing. I had a free program that came on some clearance laptop I got at Walmart, and I taught myself editing through that. So I've learned how to edit.
I went and tracked down bioacousticians online at some online forums and just basically went through the hazing process to try to get some of them to talk to me so I could understand how infrasound actually works in the world. And then we didn't know anything about cameras. I didn't know anything about cameras. We had to teach ourselves that and teach ourselves the capabilities of different cameras. And that's how we've been able to record some of the stuff that we've got. The burning light, the thermal of that upright canine looking thing in the LBL. I mean, what's happened is that our skills and our knowledge have increased over the years, and our equipment that we have available to us has increased. I mean, that's where all of we don't do vacations. We don't drive nice cars. We don't,
we didn't have a wedding.
We didn't have a honeymoon. This is what we're kind of hyper focused on. And that's,
you went a little blast from the past here, my man.
What you got?
Howling Underdog says, I still use my original knockoff GoPro called Ape man.
We've got 8-man
We've
game
got
cams.
8-man game cams. Yes. I do have some other stuff here.
Okay, knock it out there. What
Before
you
we
got?
wrap it up on the show, Mr. Blueberry says you guys need to go back there, go full circle, talking about
We have,
Panthertown Valley.
that had such a weird like effect on us that we've never gone back there. We've never gone back to that spot.
What's crazy is like we'll have all these crazy experiences in all these different places, and some of them are just bizarre and wild, and we'll just go back to that area. Like we'll go right back there. But then there's some experiences we have where we just don't return. And it's like Panthertown Valley is one of those.
The area with the laughing beast.
The laughing beast. The settlement where we did Ghosts of Appalachia. Still haven't been back to that.
I don't want to go back to the City Boy area.
That's
weird.
what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's weird. I don't want to go back to the City Boy area. So
Stormy Starless Sea. Jesse, there's no living with him anymore. He's a grown-ass man with rugged charm, apparently.
Anyway.
He's adrift on the ocean, Starless Sea.
Yes. Our buddy P, I called Pork Chop Express PCX the other day, and he was like having to get used to a different nickname. All right. So we're going to be wrapping up here in a minute.
Yeah.
I know we've kind of thrown a bunch of crazy stuff at y'all, but so we've got the Equinox video will be coming out where we are trying to make contact with something there to see if we can get some insight into what's going on in Blackthorn. We are involved in a crazy multi-investigation or multi-outing investigation. We're doing multiple night investigations for the Halloween video.
Yes.
It's not going to be filmed over the course of like one night. It's going to be a few different night investigations along with the witness account that we're going to share with you all of an area that has got some weird activity in it. So we got that going on. Let's see here. What else do we got? People calling for a cat check. Anyway. How behind am I in the damn chat? What have you guys done here, for God's sakes? I'm like an hour behind.
Response, tooting our horn a little bit.
What's Cryptid Response saying?
The reason they have had the success just because they weren't scared to get their hands dirty. I met them by posting on an unaffiliated groups page, and that group did nothing. They are the real deal.
How about a Cryptid Response? I still got to call you. How
rude of me.
Way to not silence your phone. That's pretty unprofessional if you ask me, but that's just, what do I know?
Not much.
But.
Oops. All right, there we go. MK is doing
I forgot about that.
He is doing a live investigation.
Our buddy MK.
After this show.
Who was in the URI documentary for us. He didn't really do much in the documentary. We kind of had to carry him.
We were watching the intro because I'm working on some stuff right now. We're watching the intro to the Monster on Morris Mountain the other night, and I was watching the intro. We're watching
because we watch our own stuff like repeatedly.
I have to.
Very vain.
We're
very vain.
I'm looking at some of the devices that I use, and I'm trying to work on a project here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Some people have to do all the magic work back here. Okay. Can't just carry stuff into the woods and be ruggedly handsome. All right. Anyway, so we're watching the intro. We get to the part where I have my main title sequence where I'm crediting everybody on there and everything. And that photo I used of him where it says field producer MK, Mike MK Patrick. He looks like the Unabomber.
He looks like a crazy person.
He looks crazy. I chose a photo of him where he looks crazy.
That looked absolutely like a madman.
His credit as field producer. So,
but anyway, MK was
the crazed field producer.
He was our crazed field producer in the Uwari's documentary. We couldn't have done that documentary without MK. From start to finish, we literally could not have done that documentary without MK. If we weren't friends with MK Ultra, we would have probably just done some lame, just 60 minutes on the dot. We're trying to put a bunch of filler in for those last 10 minutes.
Oh, pause 1 second. Karen asked about the Sumter National Forest. We do have a ticker at the bottom. If you've had an experience in the Sumter National Forest in South Carolina, email us at that right there. We're trying to locate some witnesses to ask them about a few things if they've had any experiences in the Sumter National Forest in South Carolina.
Please,
that's what that is, Karen.
We need it badly.
Oh, Jesus.
We're trying to do a big project on the Newberry area and the Sumter National Forest that's around there.
And we're trying to just poke around and
we
find
want
some
local
information.
witnesses down there that have had like
Or if you
Bigfoot.
know somebody that you
Please,
can connect us
we
with.
could use the help.
Yep.
I actually talked to Miguel from Sasquatch Theory today. He's going to kind of beat the bushes for us. A lot of the people that are the cool people are kind of starting to really get some good lines of communication up right now.
Yeah.
I think Miguel from Sasquatch Theory is an awesome dude. Him and the half-inch wrench guys. You're probably going to see us all together on something sooner rather than later. But anyway, MK, our buddy MK, the third musketeer.
I don't think he likes the intro that we're giving him right here.
Why is that? What's he saying?
What kind of intro is that? So, in short,
he's doing a field investigation tonight, a live field investigation tonight. Do you want to share the link in the chat?
I don't
here?
have the link. Wait, he texted me the link, but I'm on a computer.
MK, text me the link real quick.
Help.
Text me the link to the live stream you're doing tonight. And
anyway, we're going to put that up there.
we're going to be in the chat kind of watching him. Maybe he gets eaten. Maybe he gets attacked.
No, we need him for the URE sequel.
Oh, yes. Don't get eaten. Maybe
you
just
hear
get
that?
lightly crippled.
Did you hear what I said, people? The URE sequel.
Just maybe get lightly crippled.
Lightly crippled. I think you'd look good with an eye patch. We all look good with eye patches.
Matter of fact, this is perfect timing. HG McC. Joe, after meeting Jesse, did you ask her out on a date and were you nervous? I was actually wearing an eye patch on me and Jesse's first date. I'd had a bad bout of Bell's palsy when part of my face was paralyzed. I had an eye patch on. Actually, you asked me out.
I did.
Yeah, so.
I did.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I sent the link to the email if I can get it.
Hold on, MK just messaged me.
Well, look at that.
We're going to be in the chat.
Yeah.
This is going to be good.
So he's got a new channel called Strange Backcountry. He's got a super duper Sasquatch conveyance that he's been working on a building, but right now they are in the Camperino. And they've been doing kind of a tour up and down the eastern seaboard, looking at some Sasquatch stuff.
Join us in the chat over there. We're going to pop in. And
Michael Tovar had Bell's palsy as well.
Did you? Yeah, it was a pain in the butt, but it
See, Lady Wolf, she goes, it shows she loves him for him, not just your half paralyzed face. I had to look past the monster that you were. He was really bad.
I had chicks throwing themselves at me when I had that eye patch on.
You looked like a super villain. That's
like a super villain. You know what I'm saying?
The competition got stiffer when he got the eye patch.
So I just put in the chat. I'll do it again. So that's where we're going to be at after this is over. We're going to pop over and support our buddy MK. He's going to do a live stream investigation. Be pretty cool. Maybe something happen. Who knows? And while you're over there, give him a subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I think we've got a new joke. It's a side effect from the creatine. Anyway,
my friend has that no joke. Yeah, Bell's palsy. No, Joe had.
I had a bad one, man.
He had very bad Bell's palsy.
They were
a very long time to get over it.
Our buddy Larry Sharp is in here. So, what's up, Larry? Buddy Jason Finch is in here. So we're going to wrap up here, guys. Pop on over. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do a link to the video that's coming up. We're going to be in the chat.
Head over to Strange Backcountry. Like, share, subscribe to one of our good friends.
Yes, our boy. And people are
not crazed field producer.
Not crazed field producer. So anyway, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. We are going to, we might try to go live for a while. And the next nighttime investigation that we're doing for the Halloween special. We might just try to do a quick live and who knows? I mean, we'll be stationary. We got to set the Starlink up and everything like that. But we might try to go live this weekend.
But it looks like the tribe has spoken. Friday we'll be releasing Equinox, and you can see at the Equinox experiment where I try to contact the dead to ask about their experiences with Bigfoot and see if we could get some answers about that mysterious shot we heard in the dark and the screams from across the lake. Joseph.
I'm carrying a Sog Seal XR. It's pretty small compared to most of the pocket knives I carry, but it's really damn cool. It's very cool.
We got that at the local gun shop and
they get used knives in there.
The trading post box.
The trading post box. But I got that. So
I got a pretty sweet little Lindgren tour knockoff there. I think that's
little self-defense fixed blade.
Just a little self-defense fixed blade. That's pretty sweet.
What's cool about that is you have like a really weird backwards serrated. It's not for like a saw for like wood. You're not out there like Rambo.
It's for sawing assailants.
It's saw somebody's rib cage. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
We'll see you guys over at Strange Backcountry. Thank you for joining us for Hellbent Live. Keep your notifications on, and I'll see you all Friday for the live premiere of Equinox.
Thank you for everybody that contributed tonight.
Yes.
Thank you for everybody that joined the membership. It's going to be the best damn investment you've ever made. I'm selling all my Amazon stock. Going long on Hellbent Holler. Anyway, we'll see you guys over on...
Joe's never had stock in his life. All right.
We are...
he's got stock in his rugged good looks.
We are going to pop one over to MK's channel. He's going live shortly. We'll see you folks over there.
All right.
Thank you all.
Guys. Good night. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Carry on.